Folks, welcome to the Habs Tonight Weekly Roundtable. This is Drew here, joined for the first time with Marco and second time technically with JD. So thanks for jumping on here, boys.
Pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Happy to be doing this for you guys. First show, like you said. So yeah, very pumped.
Well, we got some breaking news. This is literally just coming out now, thanks to our guy JD Lagrange down there. Did I say that right? Was that?
Lagrange, yeah.
Lagrange? Okay, pretty darn close, man. Pretty darn close. Before we
been called worse.
Okay, good. That's good to know. Good to know. So here we go, guys. This is kind of breaking news out of La Presse in Montreal that Bob Gainey, folks, will be helping to help find the Canadiens' next general manager. He'll be part of the advisory committee, according to UJD. So we're going to get into this in a second. But before we do, folks, tonight, we want to let you guys know it'll be with the return of the Swedish Dutch Gretzky himself, ladies and gentlemen, our leader, our founder, Dale Weiss, recorded an episode this morning with our very own Annick Lemaire. Going to be doing his reaction to the recent front office changes for the Canadiens. A lot of great stuff coming from Dale. You guys know it's always fire when he comes on. So be sure to check that out, guys, dropping tonight at 8 o'clock. And then before that, we have a live Autour de la Ligue at 7 o'clock with JD. And is it Shane?
Yes, with Shane as well, yes.
Yes, that's right. So we have a lot of stuff going out today, guys, including this clip, of course, too. So much happening in the hockey world, and we're just going to get right to it. And let's start again here, JD. This is fresh. I want to get your first impressions here on former Canadiens general manager Bob Gainey, Habs legend, Stanley Cup winner. We could go on about his resume, but what do you guys make of Bob Gainey helping to find the Habs next GM?
I think it makes sense. I mean, the guy did the job, worked as a GM in Montreal for several years. He's been part of the organization. He knows the organization inside and out. He will serve a little bit like Serge Savard did when they hired Marc Bergevin, I remember. But this time, Jeff Gorton had mentioned that they want to form a committee for the selection of the next GM, and having Bob Gainey on there, I can't think of a better guy to help them find that next guy for sure.
Completely agree.
You know what? I got Bob Gainey. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm just going to grab this for you guys because Bob Gainey's on the front of this book on the 86 Stanley Cup team, ladies and gentlemen. Where is he? Here he is, right here.
Look at that.
Number 23, ladies and gentlemen. My hockey number 23, Bob Gainey, Habs legend, jersey retired in the Bell Center, as we all know. So that's pretty interesting news, guys. And you got to like what Bob Gainey can bring. He's got experience. He's just going to be an advisor. So at the end of the day, Jeff Gorton will still make the final decision, but not a bad committee to start with, guys, to try to find the next Canadiens GM. I certainly like this.
Mm-hmm. Well, with Molson, obviously, will be part of that, and Gorton will be part of that. Now with Gainey, and there might be one or two names tagging along. By the way, just to clarify, it's not my rumor. It's coming from La Presse in Montreal, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, this was hot off the presses literally just before we hit record here, folks. So thank you, JD, for that. So
I just happened to see it.
Yeah, the timing was excellent. So that we'll probably get more information on as time goes on here. But let's get right into the next subject here, and that is, folks, the coaching situation with the Canadiens. A lot of folks feel that now, as we know today, Alain Vigneualt and Michel Therrien, former head coaches of the Montreal Canadiens, were both let go today. So Dale's going to give his take on this as well in tonight's episode. So be sure to see that. Played for both coaches, Dale did. So second chance for Alain Vigneualt, Montreal. Do you guys see this, or is it too early in Dominic Ducharme's tenure to consider this as an option?
I don't see it as a possibility for this season just because I think it would be unfair to let Ducharme off the hook for this season. I mean, he hasn't even had a full roster to work with, right? So, I mean, I could see it as a possibility depending on what Gorton wants to do in the future, how the rest of the season goes. But for this year, I don't see it happening, but they could, who knows, they could start talking maybe if there's interest that develop. But yeah, for this season, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I agree with Marco on that. I think that Jeff Gorton did state that Ducharme was going to be there for the rest of the season, and I think it's a good thing. What's the point of getting a new coach when you don't even have a GM yet who will have a say on the next coach anyway? And as Marco said, I mean, how fair really would be for Ducharme, who has had something like just the last game against the Predators, $44 million in salary cap were out of the lineup. That's 54% of the 81.5 million. And now you're adding others, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but we're adding other players that will be missing. So how fair is it to the coach really to bring back? Gorton has a history with Vigneualt, remember, in New York. However, it's Gorton that fired Vigneualt as well. So, and he felt at that time that he wasn't playing the young guys enough. So I highly doubt that even Vigneualt was considered the next time around.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
Yeah. Did you have a follow-up on that, Marco?
No, well, I definitely think that the direction that the Gorton wants to take with the team next season and for the foreseeable future is to really develop the young guys and to have them get a chance in the lineup and maybe towards whatever rebuild that the Habs are trying to go towards. Like, your young guys are going to be crucial. I mean, JD saying Vigneualt wasn't really letting them do their thing. I mean, it just kind of seems like a conflict of interest in my point of view.
Yeah, that's fair. And you guys mentioned the future of players. Let's quickly talk about, we're going to fire through a bunch of subjects today. It's going to be a shorter episode today. We're going to let you guys enjoy the rest of the content tonight with Dale and Nick, and then you guys on a tour de the league, of course, en français. But Norlinder's future, guys. JD, you had a bit of information about something from Norlinder's agent that he had mentioned.
Yeah, apparently JP Barry has mentioned that he will be meeting with the Canadiens in the next few days, actually, to decide on his future, or his immediate future, I should say, if he's returning to Sweden or staying in the NHL. We know that he has an out clause that instead of being sent to the American League, he would return to Sweden, to his club out there. So we're approaching the 10-game plateau, so they'll have to make a decision in that regards. And JP Barry himself, the agent himself, mentioned that today.
So with that in mind, with all the injuries, guys, and that's why I'm going to bring up our next point, is that Joel Edmundson may not be coming back as soon as we thought. And not only Joel Edmundson, now adding to the infirmary at the Canadiens, with the Canadiens, Tyler Toffoli and Joel Edmundson possibly both out long term now. So that being said, do you have a choice to keep Norlinder or send him down to Laval? Like, or do you guys see Sweden as like, don't miss out on the opportunity for development, regardless of how banged up the Canadiens are?
I mean, the way I see it, this season's kind of like, I don't want to say lost cause for playoffs because anything could happen, but chances aren't there. And I mean, the best thing for Norlinder's development is to go back in Sweden to stay competitive, to play with all the guys there. And so I don't think that, I don't know, this year it wouldn't be ideal, like, to just have him stick around with the team because, like, I think the window for being competitive has passed. So I would rather give the opportunities for other guys to develop or to see what you could do with the lineup.
I'm a strong believer with young players that either you play them and play them a lot in positions that they can succeed, or bring them down one level. Those kids need to play in order to develop. Give him a list of things to work on, particularly defensively. We've seen a few mistakes. I mean, it's coming fast in the NHL. It's a small rink compared to what he's accustomed to anyway in Sweden. So the SEL is a very defensive-minded league. He will learn to play defense there. I'm not concerned. Look at all the good Swedish players around the league right now, the defensemen particularly. So I think that it would be a good thing for him to go back to Sweden and finish the year there, and then their season finishes sooner than us, so he could come back and join the team later on once his season is over.
Very good point. And that's why, again, like, there's just such an open window of let's just relax. Let's do what's best by everybody at this point in terms of prospects, in terms of current roster guys. I want to jump into another young player in the Canadiens. We didn't mention this before we jumped on, but one thing I want to mention, guys, Cole Caufield, the playmaker. We saw 2 nice assists from Cole in Nashville on Saturday, and I think we saw another side of his game that we didn't really fully focus on because all we could think about was goal scoring, goal Caufield, this and that. So what do you guys make of seeing more of this side of his game, not just the goal scorer, Cole Caufield, but a playmaker?
I mean, I definitely think it shows his versatility as a player. And if you could not only bang it in the back of the neck, but you could set up plays like you guys are mentioning, that's an incredible asset for your team. And I think he's doing well so far this season, and we'll see what the rest of the season could bring for him. But I think it's a very hopeful sign. It shows that Cole's here to stay and that he could produce at the top level. So I'm very happy with what we're seeing here so far out of him.
I remember a year ago at the World Juniors, people were on his case because he wasn't scoring much, but he was getting a lot of assists. He was setting up guys right, left, and center at the World Juniors last year, and it's an aspect of his game that has always been there. He improved on it last season, but he is a smart hockey player. He sees the ice well. Yes, he's a goal scorer. He knows how to find the back of the net, but he's a more complete player than what we gave him credit to or what we thought of before we saw him play. And so him gaining confidence that way, being able to make a good pass and resulting in a goal anyway, is just as good as him scoring. However, not every player can score goals. As long as he focuses on shooting when he gets a good scoring chances, and that's what we don't want to see. You don't want to turn out like another Jonathan Drouin who will pass on a good scoring chance to make a play because he's a good passer.
Yeah, I think that his instincts take over, and that showed with Nick Suzuki and his goal, the 2-0 in the the Leaf series last year in Game 5, which pushed the series along. Just that that killer instinct, whether it's pass or shoot, if they make the right decision, that's all that matters, right? So, setting up Brett Kulak for his first goal of the season, I mean, that was like a win-win for everybody. Cole makes a nice pass, Kulak gets his first goal, so we have to enjoy that kind of stuff when you see it. Now this I'm gonna touch on this very quickly. It's a bit of a rumor right now, but now we see a vacancy in the GM position in Vancouver. I know this isn't Habs related partially, but it kind of is, because there's heavy interest potentially in Marc Bergevin to Vancouver, according to what you heard, JD.
Yeah, well, it's according to Ryan Kennedy of the Hockey News, actually, who tweeted that, and everybody has been retweeting it since. But apparently, the Canucks are, according to Kennedy, very interested in Marc Bergevin as a new GM. My take on that, being in BC here, is that I would be shocked if Bergevin was interested in that position. And the reason being, Franco Aquilini is definitely a hands-on type owner. In Montreal, Bergevin he could do whatever he wanted when it came to hockey decisions. Okay. Aquilini is the one who brought Mark Messier, who wanted Mark Messier in Vancouver. Aquilini is the one who wanted John Tortorella in Vancouver, and he got that happening. Trevor Linden, an excellent hockey man, left the Canucks as president because of disagreements with Aquilini. So he's the type of owner that's so hands-on. It's his toy. He thinks he knows hockey. He needs a puppet as a GM, and I can't see Marc Bergevin accepting a role like that.
No, I'm going to fully agree on that. I've heard it from Montreal reporters before. Marc Bergevin, he's an alpha dog, man. If you look up the definition of alpha dog, you might see a picture of Marc Bergevin. One reporter told me, I won't name the person, but I'm just going to jump into the next subject just to kind of quickly roll along here, guys, and that simply is trade bait. A lot of rumors going around Ben Chiarot right now, which I don't think are rumors at this point. I think it's pretty well inevitable that he could see his last days with the Canadiens in the next coming months, and that's a good thing in terms of becoming a positive asset for the Canadiens. But he seems to be the number one target right now, and it's either a first-round pick. That's got to be a starter, I think, potentially if you're looking to move him.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of reporters saying that Ben Chiarot could go. I mean, the way he's performing for a first-round pick, and I think, like, given the direction Gorton wants to take the Canadiens, that could be a very valuable asset in the future. And I mean, we're not short of young defensemen now, especially with signing Clegg. So I think potentially, if we do end up shipping Chiarot, it could be a good opportunity for Clegg to step in the lineup and show us what he could do.
Yeah, I mean, and then what do you do? My biggest concern with that is that look how quickly Habs players fall to injury right now. So you have a choice if you're Montreal. I personally have a feeling that if you wait closer to trade deadline, you could get more because most of his salary will be paid. And let's face it, there's a lot of teams that are very tight to the cap right now. So when most of his salary is paid, it's a lot easier. There's more teams that can jump in to create sort of an auction, if you want, to get that guy, right? So some
bidding
teams
war.
will be a bidding war, and someone will want to overpay to get him. However, the way injuries happen these days and around the Canadiens, and also the fact that Chiarot plays a pretty physical style, very much involved in the game, the risk of injury is there. So what do? You take a first-round pick today, or you gamble and risk losing him when comes February, March, closer to trade deadline. So it's a fine balance, and it's a tough decision if you're Jeff Gorton.
Yeah, that's a very good way to look at it. And maybe once the next GM comes in, if he gets in time, which I think is a possibility, they can certainly have another mind to work with that. And let's just go over really quickly as we wrap up here, guys. First impressions of Jeff Gorton. Now I know it's only been less than a week that he's been here, but do you think this move for the Canadiens, having him be vice president of hockey ops, is really a bigger deal than we realized to try to get the Canadiens back on track sooner than later?
I mean, yeah, I think he's made his intentions very clear with the club, what he wants to do and the direction he wants to take. And I think it's very encouraging. And just with his early acquisition of Clague, I was saying on the show before, I absolutely love the move. I'm very excited to see him play. I think he's very talented. But I definitely think that Gordon knows what he's doing. And just also, he's also made it clear that he wants to have a team around him. He doesn't want it to be a one-man show. And we had our last minute news with Bob Gainey. Looks like we're going to have a lot of firepower to determine the next couple of years, the foreseeable future for the Canadiens. So my first impressions of Gorton are very positive to start.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't say much, right? When he did his press conference, he was his third day into the job, right? So he had seen one Laval Rocket game, and then he saw the Canadiens play one game live, and then the next morning he had his press conference. So we couldn't tell much. He couldn't tell much anyway about what his plans, immediate plans were. I like his idea. I like the concept. And I think that Jeff Molson was smart tiptoeing around the language barrier by having the best hockey man, which everybody has been claiming for how long. Don't limit yourself to language. Well, he didn't in this case, but he will go seek a GM who will be able to communicate, because Gorton is not the type who likes to be in the limelight anyway. He likes to work in the background. So you will have his go-to guy who will have the spotlight on him. And I disagree, by the way, with those who think that the GM won't have a say and he'll just be a puppet there. I think that for the first time, if they take someone with less experience to start with, obviously this year it's going to be Gorton making the decisions. But I think that new guy at the GM position will take more and more room as time goes by.
And I think it's a good thing, right? I mean, I'm with you on that. And I think that it sounds like it's going to be a very cohesive team. Mark Bergevin, at least in terms of what you heard from him, he had his war room with everybody, with Trevor Timmins, all that stuff. But I don't know. I like the idea of bringing in new hockey minds that aren't, like I mentioned last week, too far removed from their playing career. So you have somebody from an operations side and from a player side that can hopefully meet in the middle and do what's best for the Montreal Canadiens. And if that means the R word rebuild, well, I mean, I did say hopefully fix the Canadiens sooner than later with Jeff Gorton at the helm, but with Jeff Molson as well, the two Jeffs, Jeff for the G and Jeff for the J. But I mean, whatever it takes to get us to another chance at that 25th cup, because as a friend of the show, Nick Suzuki, said, he wants to help the team get back there a lot sooner than later. So with that, guys, we'll wrap up. And just want to mention to you folks, get your merch on habstonight.net. We've still got that promo code available. The code is Dale on habstonight.net if you guys want to grab your Christmas order. I just made my Christmas order, so more of this stuff will be coming in. I'll be repping this on the show, which is going to be fun. Then you guys will get yours. Our two of our newer team members, JD and Marco, here jumping on, and we're just thrilled to have you guys. So we're looking forward to get you guys that stuff. Be sure to follow us on all social medias, guys. We're everywhere, including TikTok, which Adrian, one of our other new guys, has, of course, really upped our quality content on there. Instagram, he's helping us everywhere. And then be sure, of course, folks, to subscribe to the channel and tune in tonight as, again, our guy Dale Weiss makes his return to the Habs Tonight program here with breaking down some great stuff about, Jeff Gorton taking over, Mark Bergevin heading out the door. So you don't want to miss that, guys. And that's pretty much it. So we'll see you guys for Autour de la Ligue later. For those that want to learn French, it's a great time to come in and learn the language a little bit, or maybe get some Rosetta Stone in you first. I think that's what I would have to do. But anyway, guys, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. As always, gentlemen, we can't wait to keep doing this stuff with you guys.
Same here.
My pleasure.
All right. Go Habs. Go, guys. And we'll see you very soon.